Welcome to my video guys, today I'll be talking about Saitama. I've seen many YouTubers made videos and state that Saitama couldn't have beat Boros or Garu with one punch. Many people might not understand this about Saitama, but if you guys keep watching this video, you guys will understand what I'm talking about. The fight between Boros and Garu only dragged on because Saitama allowed it to. The main reason why he allowed the fight to drag on as long as it did was because of the dialogue that Saitama and Boros had. Saitama felt so bad for Boros because Boros was bored of being so strong and couldn't find a worthy opponent to fight him. So Saitama was the only person that understood what Boros was feeling at that moment. Boros was feeling bored and lonely, just like Saitama was feeling bored and lonely, being the strongest. Because Saitama understood Boros' feeling of being lonely at the top, Saitama grant Boros his opportunity to have one last epic match. The reason why Saitama did this for Boros is because he wanted to grant him the wish that he wanted to find a worthy opponent to fight. Saitama knew that he was way stronger than Boros, but Saitama wanted to give him that fulfillment of feeling the joy of fighting. At the end of the fight, when Boros was laying defeated on the ground, Boros told Saitama that this wasn't even a fight. Boros stated that Saitama was holding back strength. Because Saitama never wanted Boros to die feeling sad and lonely, Saitama went as far as to tell Boros that he was strong. Boros turned to Saitama and said this wasn't even a fight and that Saitama was lying to him. So with the conclusion of that fight, that proved to us that Saitama could have ended the match if he wanted to, because he wanted Boros to have that feeling and that thrill of fighting a strong opponent. Saitama granted him his last wish, and before he died, Saitama tried to cheer him up and told him that he was strong. But too bad, Boros died still feeling bad because he knew that there was no way he stand a chance. There was no way he stood a chance against Saitama because Saitama was actually holding back against him. I believe the main reason why one did this and put this at the end of the fight is because one wanted to show us that Saitama had the power to defeat Boros from the get-go if he wanted to, but because he wanted to give Boros that feeling, he held back so much and waited until the end to end the fight between him and Boros. Now let's get to one of our favorite fights in the manga, which is Saitama versus Cosmic Fear Garu. The main reason why Garu survived as long as he did was one reason and one reason only. One reason it was because Saitama promised Tario that he was going to kill Garu, he was just going to rough him up a little. This fight was so epic that Garu pushed Saitama at a level that nobody has ever seen in the manga. I know that many people will be saying that Saitama couldn't beat Garu with one punch, but I'm going to prove you guys wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong that Saitama could have won with one punch if he wanted to, but he chose not to. One of the main reasons why people believe this is because of the power graph that one included in the manga. But many of us misunderstood what it meant. I believe that the graph was included because One and Murata wanted to show us how both Saitama and Garu power were growing during the fight. I believe One and Murata wanted us to understand how fast Saitama power was growing compared to Garu's power. If we should look back at the fight, we will see that Saitama never once said that he was going to kill Garu. He only told Tario that he was going to beat him up a little. We all saw more examples of this while Saitama and Garu was on Jupiter's moon. Saitama told Garu that he will only need one hand to beat the crap out of Garu. We need to take in consideration that Saitama was holding Genos core in one of his hand and he was using one hand to fight Garu. Even after Saitama knew that Garu could copy his power and his stats, Saitama was still confident that he could have defeated Garu with one hand while holding the core of Genos in one hand without getting it destroyed. Saitama was fighting that whole match holding back power, but Garu was going trying to kill Saitama while Saitama was just like, I don't even want to fight you. I'm just here to prove to you that you can't beat me. Saitama went as far as to copy Garu's technique and use it on him just to prove to him that if he wanted to beat him long ago, he could have beaten him, but he just holding back. Saitama even stated to Garu that wasn't the purpose of this fight was to copy me endlessly while I was serious. So go ahead. Garu couldn't keep copying Saitama because Saitama rose his power so much Garu couldn't keep up. Garu just gave up. So there Saitama accomplished what he set out to do. He set out to make Garu give up on his dreams of being absolute evil. Saitama never intended to beat Garu with one punch. If he wanted to beat Garu with one punch, he would have done it. Saitama never went into the fight to beat Garu. No matter how many times he copied him, he still was gonna lose. Garu realized how strong Saitama actually can become. Garu got scared and he said, "This guy is a monster. There's no way this guy should be allowed to roam around on Earth." Garu tried to knock him off in space and tried to head back to Earth. Saitama did the serious part and catch up and went through the portal and came back to Earth with Garu. That's showing us that Saitama didn't even need to punch Garu to beat Garu. He wanted to break his spirit of being a monster. So I believe that's the moral of the story between Saitama and Garu. It wasn't about Saitama trying to prove that, hey, I can beat you with one punch. It was more about Garu want to become this monster, this absolute evil, but Saitama want to show him that I am absolute justice. And if you're trying to be absolute evil, there's always going to be this superhero here that is way stronger than you, so you better stop doing what you're doing and come back to your senses. So at the end of the at the end of the day, Saitama won, but he never won because he beat Garo with his power. He just broke his spirit. So the zero punch is just an indication to show us that, hey, Saitama still beat Garo without even throwing a punch because it was a zero punch. Anyway, guys, I hope that you guys enjoy this video. So make sure you guys leave a like, leave a subscribe, and if you need to let me know what you guys think, please leave it in the comment section. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Your boy Sean is out.